but he ended up having such a great career in Green Bay, and a big part of it was the big plays, seize the moment plays.
Welcome back to our Green and Gold in Canton Hall of Fame special. That was current Packers historian Cliff Crystal talking about Charles Woodson. Now, he wasn't the only Hall of Famer who made some huge plays in the secondary and program history. Green Bay has had 4 distinct eras of championship football with Lambeau, Lombardi, Holmgren, and McCarthy, with a few decent teams sprinkled in along the way. The Packers have also had their share of tough times, and I had the chance to chat with Crystal about Bobby Dillon's career and how he had so much success on some really bad teams during the 1950s.
You know, when you're all-pro, perennial all-pro, Pro Bowl pick on teams that didn't win, I mean, that tells you that he had to be a special player.
52 interceptions in just over 90 games, and an era where they didn't throw the ball that much. That is truly amazing.
Yeah, it's still a record today. And he did it in 12-game seasons. I think he had 3 9-interception seasons in 12 games.
That's one thing that people constantly harp on is what an overall athlete he was. Because back then, you had corners and you had safeties, and sometimes there was a strong, sometimes there was a free, but he seemed to be a free-roaming guy in that defensive secondary.
Well, he played the ball. He was technically their right safety. Strong and free weren't part of the lingo yet, so he was the right safety. But when the Packers played like the Bears with Harlan Hill, the Rams with Crazy Legs Hirsch, the Colts with Raymond Berry, great receivers, he would cover them man-to-man from his safety position. They wouldn't substitute or realign their defense, but he would play man-to-man on those guys as a free safety.
He also had 5 interception returns for touchdowns, also unheard of at that time.
Yeah, that was the record. Adderley broke it. Charles Woodson then broke it. Big play guy and a nose for the ball.
And he did this with a childhood injury that left him with only one eye.
Right, he lost an eye at age 10. There was really 2 childhood incidents from what he told me, and that was even more remarkable.
Fitting, though, better late than never, getting the call to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, when Lombardi came here in '59, he said there were 3 untouchables after watching film of the '58 season. Bobby Dillon, Jim Ringo, and Dan Curry. Curry's career got short-circuited by injuries, but Ringo's a Hall of Famer, and I think Dillon should be too.
And it's a little unfortunate, too. He only got that 1 season with Lombardi.
Yeah. Lombardi all but begged him to come back because he announced his retirement before the season. Reported late. Lombardi waived his fine rule secretly to get him back because he thought he was indispensable. Late in the season, Dillon suffered an injury. And, Lombardi, who was an assistant coach with the Giants in the Eastern Conference, called him the best defensive back in the league when he took the job, and then called him one of 3 untouchables after he studied Packers film. I mean, I think that speaks volumes.
Dillon, by the way, just one of 2 players who didn't win a championship here in Green Bay. The other, receiver James Lofton, who played for the Packers from 1978 to '86 and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2003. Well, the saying goes, there is no I in team. And there are several things that go into being a great teammate. Listen well, be accountable, have a good attitude, work hard, sacrifice, and, of course, be a family. Nobody embodied that philosophy more than Charles Woodson, and he's just one of 10 players all time who have won the Heisman Trophy and been part of taking home the Lombardi Trophy. For more on that, we go to M.K. Burgess, who joins us live from Lambeau Field.
Well, Burke, you said it. There's nothing more about Charles Woodson that embodies that team spirit. And what the theme that all of his teammates talked about was work ethic. Many of them said that you saw what he was able to do on the field, and it translated into the time and time again effort that he put into the game, into his craft at practice. Aaron Rodgers has talked about his football IQ, how he's one of the smartest players he's ever played with, and said Davante Adams is up there as well. But the one theme that you cannot take away from Charles Woodson is work ethic, and that is why he's now in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 7 seasons as a Packer, Charles Woodson left an impression on his teammates the moment he set foot inside 1265 Lombardi Drive.
The way he studied, the way he prepared himself each and every week, I mean, that's not a fluke that he goes out on Sunday and always make big plays when we needed it. You've seen him do it throughout the week, starting on Monday.
I tell people all the time, everybody sees how talented Charles Woodson is, but they didn't see the behind the scenes of how much work C. Wood put in, how much film he watched. I mean, he knew the ins and outs of the game. If your foot was up this way, he knew which route you were running. If you was lined up 2 yards inside the numbers, he knew what you were doing. So he was just a student of the game. It's well-deserved. I'm proud of him.
His name speaks for itself, so as a young guy, coming in, Charles Woodson is one of the guys you kind of look up to. You know, when you first walk in, you kind of in awe, like, wow, that's Charles Woodson, but you got to play it off a little bit because that's your teammate. But being alongside him, playing with him, working with him, and seeing how he works behind the scene, you understand why he's deserving of everything that he has now.
The 2009 Defensive Player of the Year was a force even before he won that award, leading the NFL in interceptions in 2006 with 8. And his leadership helped inspire the Packers to push even farther, winning the Super Bowl in 2010.
Means everything to what we work for and what we accomplish out there on the field and off the field.
But when I seen it click is when he had that toe injury the year he won Defensive Player of the Year. Didn't practice a lot, but like I tell you, man, you come in here, it's 23 hours of film that he's watching, making sure he's ready to go out there and play the game. And I'm like, dang, man, this dude is supposed to be sitting on the training table, sitting in here relaxing, and he's watching 17 hours of film a day. So, you know, dedicated to the game, and it paid off for him.
Woodson holds the franchise records in pick sixes with 9 and defensive touchdowns with 10. But more than that, this accomplishment, being inducted into the Hall of Fame, it has his green and gold teammates bursting with pride.
I grew up a diehard Charles fan, so I wanted to go to Michigan, I wanted to do all that, blah, blah, blah. And so getting a chance to play with him, compete with him, be a professional with him, and go to work every day, those are something, it's like super special. And to be able to see him, how he performed, how he held himself, and then get recognized in the caliber. It's like, listen, if there's anybody in this league, anybody, with everything they've accomplished and all the accolades and everything and how they handle themselves, deserves that. To be able to experience it and have some sort of relationship to it is phenomenal.
And now his footsteps have led him from Lambeau Field to the Hall of Fame. Burke, you could feel the pride from his teammates, but you could also feel the pride from Woodson himself when he talked about his mom and their journey in getting to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
When you talk to his former teammates, those guys won a Super Bowl with Charles, and we've all seen the footage afterward, his speech to the team, holding the Lombardi trophy. He obviously got hurt and couldn't finish the game itself. What struck you about what his teammates said and felt about Charles the player, not Charles the football player, or Charles the person?
Charles the person for them, Burke, was just one of those things where you felt that he cared. He was one of those guys that was always trying to help you. That's what James Jones said. He was trying to crack a joke, whether it was picking you up as a teammate or just picking you up as an individual. You could tell that he cared about each and every person on that football team, not just how you played on Sunday, but how you were as a person and as a man. And that's something that they said also translates into why he's now in the Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we definitely saw how emotional he got, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. MK Burgess reporting live from Lambeau Field tonight. We'll see you when we see you during the rainstorm. All right, when we come back on our Green and Gold and Canton special, we'll hear from the man himself, Charles Woodson, at this past weekend's Hall of Fame induction ceremony. That's coming up after the break.